Alright, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel for a brand new video. So today I'm going to talk about the Tekken Talk Live that just happened yesterday at TGS 2023. And all I gotta say is that the more information we get about this game, the better it looks. Like, Tekken 8 it seems to be shaping out to be a potential fighting game of the year. And it's great. Like, there are so many new additions that definitely make this game a much needed improvement over Tekken 7. So this was a long showcase here. I'm not going to cover the entire thing. I'm just going to go ahead and skip to certain parts of this video that I thought were pretty interesting, things that stuck out to me. So yeah, let me go ahead and get started on that. And I guess let's just talk about interesting things that happened. And why is it buffering here? Okay, there we go. All right, so look, first of all, we got the special style controls, which is basically let's call it easy mode. It's the equivalent of modern controls for Street Fighter 6. You know, players who want to use this control style will be able to do certain moves and combos by the simple press of a button. It's nothing game breaking. Tekken 7 had something like that, so this is a continued trend in fighting games. In Tekken 8, it's coming back. So we kind of all know the deal about this. Nothing too crazy. It's not game breaking, but it is a helpful tool for people who are just getting into the game and perhaps want to try a new character and just kind of want to try them out and see what they do, just to get an idea of what that specific character is all about and how to approach their play style. So it's helpful for potentially learning a new character, and of course helpful for people who are beginners at the game and just want to pick up the game and play it, have a good time, casual with friends, nothing too serious. So that's the special style of controls, right? So, and then after that, you know, we have, we got a glimpse of the story mode, which it looks pretty good. Like, the graphics look amazing. I know that by this video, it probably doesn't do it justice, but when you're actually watching the live stream, the graphics look pretty good. If you've played the CNT, you can definitely see how good this game looks. But the story, it's going to be really interesting. And, you know, speaking of the story, I actually got to go back and actually play through the Tekken 7 story. I know what happens, but I've actually never played it myself, so I think I got to go do that. But basically, that was, you know, just kind of like a glimpse of the story. So that's all good. We get character episodes, which is basically a what if story for all the characters. So we got that going on, which I think is pretty cool here. Arcade quest, you know, players can learn the basics of battle and practical techniques. So that's very good and helpful as well. Now, kind of going on further ahead. So this is where things started to get a little bit interesting here. The Super Ghost Battle. So in Tekken 8, what they're doing is something very new. So Tekken Ghost Battles aren't new to fighting games. They're not new to Tekken. But this is definitely it's built from the ground up with the intention of helping players improve their craft. So as you can see here, it says that players will be able to play against AI ghosts with real player-like movement. So essentially, these ghosts will be able to learn all the habits, you know, all the habits of the player, whether it's yourself or others. These ghosts will be able to learn and adapt to certain situations like that. And they demonstrated a bit of this showcase in action in this entire stream that they did. And also, you can download ghosts for other players. So I believe maybe go a little bit further. One thing I want to point out, something that really stuck out to me in this stream. Let's see if I can scope it out. So we have here Kazuya versus Kazuya, right? Now, look at the sidestep here. Hold up. It's coming up. Kazuya on the right's gonna sidestep a down 4 by the other Kazuya. Watch. Right here. It's coming. Right there. I forget. That was like a down back 4 that he sidestepped. That was a smooth sidestep. And that's something that I think is a great change, because movement is definitely, it's interesting in Tekken 8. The backdash is kind of up and down. Like backdashes still exist in Tekken 8. You know, I played the CNT. The movement is still there, but you can definitely feel bigger kind of weight to each character's backdash. The movement has been changed from what we've learned. They're gonna kind of make a little tweaks here and there. But one thing I can tell you, and this was a perfect example here, is that the sidesteps in Tekken 8 are smooth. Like, they are very smooth, and it feels good to sidestep your opponent's moves. And this is a perfect example here. So I'm going to go ahead and replay it. You'll see that this Kazuyo will sidestep. This one's down back 4. It's coming up. Watch. Right there. That is clean. That is clean. And that's something that Tekken 7 was severely lacking. It definitely feels like Tekken Tag 2 style movement when it comes to the sidestep. And if you've played that game, you know how fluid and responsive that movement was. So the movement being adjusted, at least for sidesteps, it's definitely a welcome addition, welcome change for me. And I know that a lot of players feel that same way about it. So that's something that I like as well. And we are getting a loading page. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so as mentioned, ghost battles, you can play against AI ghosts, including yourself and other players. So if you are having trouble beating an opponent online, no matter who it is, they will have ghost data available. It doesn't matter if it's a local rival, online, you know, it could be anyone from a beginner, advanced to a professional player. Each of these individuals will have ghost data, and you can actually download their ghost and learn how to fight against this person's playstyle. So that's going to be a big game changer, because this allows you to gain practice, to get practice versus people that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. You know, you think about all the pro players that make Evo top 8s, Arslan Ash, Anakin, Knee, right? All of these players will have ghost data, and you can download that to learn how to fight against their ghost. Now, obviously, this does not mean that you are going to be fully equipped to beat these players if you encounter them offline. It might help. It might help because the ghost is going to be a good tool to learn how to approach your opponent. But at the end of the day, it is still a ghost. It is still a computer. It is not a real person. So even though the technology is very, very advanced this time around in Tekken 8, where the ghost can adapt to your moves and, you know, things like that, and learn, look, it's still a ghost, and this computer does not have the ability to think outside the box, right? So even if you get good at beating the ghost of a specific player, obviously it does not mean that you're going to be able to beat that player in real life. You might have an idea for their tendencies, what they tend to do, but at the end of the day, there is no substitute for actually playing an individual who will react, adapt, and think outside of the box accordingly, right? So one thing I will say though, if you players who play on a flowchart, if you have a flowchart and you stick with it, if you are a flowchart player, you're screwed 100%, because people will be able to download that, and if you don't have the ability to change it up, you are going to have a rough time, because the way that things are going, flowcharts are going to get downloaded easily. So flowchart players are in trouble 100% if they don't learn how to adapt. So, and also regarding ghosts, there is no point, I think Michael Murray touched on this, there is no point in trying to sandbag and maybe not play to your fullest potential online because you're scared that your ghost is going to be out there and you're going to get downloaded by the competition. There's no need to do that, because number one, not only are you going to be hurting yourself, like that's going to really eliminate a big part of the game in terms of having fun. Like, why would you purposely sandbag the entire lifespan of Tekken 8 just because you don't want a ghost uploaded? Whatever, right? So it doesn't matter, because as mentioned, there's no substitute for playing a real life person. So while there may be ghosts of strong players out there, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? So there is no point in trying to sandbag just because you don't want to get downloaded as a player, right? But I do like what they're doing because it will add an extra layer of competition to the game, right? So now let's talk about the Tekken Fight Lounge. So this is kind of like if you play Street Fighter 6 now, the Battle Hub, it's basically like that. It's basically like a large community. If you think of, I don't know how many of you guys play, are Nintendo fans. You think of the Wii U, where you create Miis as avatars and you were able to walk around the plaza and kind of just interact with people. So it's kind of like that. So with the Battle Lounge, the Tekken Fight Lounge, as they're calling it, it is a large lobby where you will be able to interact with players and set up games. You'll be able to talk to these people, spectate matches, do ranked match, quick match, customize, all of that good stuff. So, to give you another example, PlayStation Home. Did anybody play PlayStation Home when it was a thing back in the day? That was pretty fun, right? Dang, I kind of missed that. But regardless, right? It's kind of like that. It's a nice little addition that will kind of give the game a little bit more life. I have seen mixed reactions on this. I see people that think this is out of place and kind of rushed and not really fitting for a Tekken game. I like it. I think this is good because there is real interaction, real-time interaction, rather than just queuing up in a lobby where, it's just your nameplate and character in a freaking, like in the list, trying to play some games. This adds life to it. And this is where you would play Tekken Ball. As you can see, the character avatar is running to the beach. This is where you would play it. Tekken Ball, of course, it's going to have, it's returning in Tekken 8. It's going to have online, so there's going to be competitions for that as well. Side tournaments. I can already see that that's going to be a lot of fun and kind of like a stress relief for ONA. Like, you're not feeling it online, one-on-one, go play some Tekken Ball, have some fun that way, right? So I like this edition. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And it's a nice addition. I like the way they're going about this. This is Tekken Ball, as mentioned. It's returning to Tekken, so that's pretty cool. And then we got some footage here of, Paul and Brian playing Tekken Ball, which, it's Tekken Ball, right? It's a fun mode, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out online. It's pretty cool that they're bringing this back. Now, what else stuck out? So, all right, break. Let's skip through it. Okay, more online battle details. 3 battle modes are playable in the lounge. As you can see, it's group, quick, and ranked. Each battle has a spectating option as well. So you'll be able to spectate matches in this lounge, which is cool because it just adds more depth to it. It adds more layers of life to the game, and you'll be able to see many matches in real time as they happen. And it gives you the opportunity to study matchups, observe how other players play. Maybe you need some ideas on how to play your character. You could kind of search for somebody that plays your same character and get, have a learning moment from it, So that's pretty cool. I like that as well. Now, one thing that stuck out immediately and something that I personally like a lot, this right here. Let's talk about the ranked system. Ranked matches in Tekken 8. The first thing that comes to the eye, comes to your attention is here. The rules. Best of 3 system. Eliminating infinite rematches. This change to me is 100% long overdue. They should have done that. They should have done that with Tekken 7. I have done death matches for many sessions, right? You go ahead and take a look at my YouTube channel. I've uploaded deathmatch sessions that were 1 hour long, 2 hours long, whatever the heck, right? I have done death matches in Tekken 7. And, it's not bad, but at the same time, the eliminating the ability for people to infinite rematch is going to be a good thing, because this, for several options, for several reasons, in my opinion. Number one, the best of three system. If you were to play an online tournament or an in-person tournament, that's the system they're going to use. It's best 2 out of 3, right? So already you're getting kind of acclimated to a competitive scene of Tekken 8 if you were to compete in tournament, whether in person or online. And number two, this is gonna allow for more people to find games, because in Tekken 7, everybody was queuing up for death matches. And honestly, it's if you found it's really weird, because like, it was fun if you found a good opponent that you could, trade wins back and forth with. But at the same time, everybody was doing death matches that the player pool was dead. Especially nowadays. Like, the longer the lifespan of Tekken 7 went on, the emptier ranked match was. It was just a wasteland. It was dead. And the reason why is because people were doing death matches, right? You had people queuing up for death matches, and there would be no people to queue up online with. Maybe somebody just wants to do like a quick 30-minute online session, 1-hour session, just play as many games as possible in ranked, not a lobby, in ranked, but it wouldn't be possible because of the deathmatch system. And honestly, we should have all seen this coming, because the beta, the CNT that just happened a few months ago, it was best 2 out of 3. So when they introduced that to the CNT, immediately I was all like, okay, they might be going down this road, and I hope that they do it. So this is a good addition. Like, I am a fan of the 2 out of 3 system, and I think it's gonna benefit the ranked matches in Tekken 8 a lot more than you think. And this also eliminates the cherry picking possibility for people who do that. Players who boost. They're gonna have a harder time ranking up, essentially, if it's 2 out of 3. So that's also pretty good. Now, for ranks, there's going to be a total of 30 ranks. There were 37 ranks in Tekken 7, so there's less ranks in this game. And, titles, it's going to be completely new rank sections and revived ranks from past titles. And also, one thing that is going to be new to this is that Dan ranks are not lowered, even if the player loses. And this goes up to yellow rank. So that means that is kind of like the line. If you are below yellow rank, no matter how much you lose, you will not get demoted, right? So let's say you are a Dan player, you manage to get into the fancy green ranks, all right? You're a fancy green rank player, but let's say you have a horrible session, or it's too challenging over there in the fancy green ranks, right? If you keep on losing, you're not going to get demoted, right? So that's kind of, they're doing you a courtesy. It's like, hey, you know what? We get it, right? Now, once you get up to yellow ranks, that's when demotions can start happening. So that's something that I like, because it's, I can definitely see that it can be pretty, like, it could kind of kill your motivation if you keep losing and you never rank up. But I get what they're doing this. Some may not be a fan of this system. To me, really, I'm indifferent towards it. It's like, okay, sure, I get what they're doing. It's a good idea. It's not going to affect me one way or another, right? I do have a suspicion that there's going to be a lot of people floating in yellow ranks 100%, because in Tekken 7, that's where the majority of people kind of like peak. Yellow ranks to probably like whatever the heck is below Genbu, like anywhere between yellow rank and Genbu is where I noticed that people kind of peaked in Tekken 7, and then they plateaued, right? So I have a suspicion there may be a lot of yellow ranks out there in the wild. We'll see how that happens. Anyway, regardless, moving on to the next feature. It says that, practice functions can be used while waiting, so that's good. That means you'll have full access to practice. It's not just like you're in an online waiting mode without access to the full practice mode, right? So that's pretty cool that they're doing that. It should be a standard. So we got that going on as well. So here's question 8. I keep losing online matches and it's frustrating. What should I do? So here the team goes into, they basically explain that the replay and tips functionality, the function is going to be a lot more advanced in Tekken 8. So one thing, just to let you know here. Okay, so number 1, you got your combo trials there. That's a pretty sick Lily outfit, by the way. Okay, so you got your combo trials. Okay, right here. So this is interesting right here, okay? So right here, you see what Asuka does? So this was a thing in Tekken 7, but it's a lot more advanced now. So you see that Asuka did a forward 2, right? And it's telling the player, the Lily player, okay, this is how you punish that move. Matterhorn, down 3+4. So you're actually going to be able to take control of your character within a replay so you can actually practice the punish that is being listed, right? And not only that, but, okay, so here we go, right? So now the Lily player has control of her character, of the character, while in the replay. Now, I believe I may have skipped over that part. Okay, no, right here. Right here. Did you see what happened? Asuka did a move that was mid high. The game now tells you high moves you can duck under. This move can be punished after evading it with a crouch. That is next level already. Just that simple thing is gonna be such a major help to everybody who plays this game. So it's telling you, hey, this is a high string. You better duck this. And when you combine that with your knowledge of how to properly punish, you are going to see some pretty good growth in this game if you use this training mode properly, right? And this is going to be really good for matchups that you don't know how to play against, right? And you saw right there that Asuka went for a throw and it told the Lily player 1+2 break, right? So this is good because hey, we have some lab monsters out there. We have some players who live in the lab, practice more than they actually spend time playing the actual game versus another player, right? Lab monsters, crazy people, right? But, what if you don't have time to do all that? I get it, right? What if you don't have time to do all that lab work, or maybe simulating real match situations is a little bit difficult in practice mode. By watching over the replay, you can actually kind of substitute that. That would be your lab, right? So the replay and tips aspect of this game is pretty good already. Like, it's pretty good. They're doing a great job with everything. Of course, you have your practice mode. Frame data is going to be included this time for free, so everybody will have access to that. So that's all good there. No need to pay for frame data this time. And of course, practice mode will have sample combos, combo tutorials, and things of that nature. Things you would come to expect from a Tekken game. So overall, and it has challenges, so you could be, learn your combos, bread and butters, and we have more punishment training right here. Looks like Asusena versus Fang. Oh, and that's also another cool thing about this. So this is going to be, Tekken 8 is going to have a lot of new characters. So the training mode is definitely going to be helpful in getting us up to speed with these characters. How do they work? What can we do to fight them? So that's pretty cool. That alpaca is pretty tight. So yeah, overall, I'm really impressed with what I see. And I like the vision that the Tekken team is having, right? They want to make this game more accessible to players because Tekken 7 was a huge success. Best-selling Tekken game of all time. Tekken 8 is probably going to double that. Like, it's going to sell way more than Tekken 7 for sure, 100%. And they want to keep the fire going. They want to keep this momentum going. So in order to do that, they need as many players as possible. The casual player base. Right? You allow them, Tekken has been notoriously a hard fighting game to get into and harder to actually get good at, essentially, right? So the way Tekken 8 is going, it's going to give new players a pretty good idea of how to start playing this game, very accessible. with the replay tips, punishment guide, training, ghost data, all of that stuff. But it's still Tekken. You know, it's not gonna be so watered down that veteran players are gonna feel ripped off. You know what I mean? And overall, I'm seeing a lot of great improvements for Tekken 8, and I'm impressed. Basically, Bandai Namco is doing so much for the player base that when you really think about it, it's going to be very hard to come up with an excuse as to why you're not good at Tekken 8. At least competent, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to kind of, put people down, but there are so many tools in this game that it'll be really hard to come up with an excuse as to why you're not having success, why you're having trouble with the matchup, right? At that point, it's completely on you, 100%, more so than in the past, right? So overall, you know, I am actually very happy with what I see. And of course, we got bikinis back in the game. You know, of course, they had to add that 100% for the player base, you know. Not like it was going to be a surprise here. So yeah, we got, of course, costumes coming back. So speaking of that, I hope customization is a lot better in this game. It seems to be shaping out to be better because Tekken 7's customs were sad. It was so sad. I'm so thankful that I played on PC. I could have mods because Tekken 7's custom options were not good. So I'm glad to see that it looks like we're getting a lot more personality with the customs and the outfits that characters have. So it's all good, you know. As mentioned, though, overall, very happy with the changes I'm seeing and the footage that I'm seeing for Tekken 8. The CBT closed beta test is coming next month. Closed beta test, all right. So that's anyway. It's coming next month, so we'll get our hands on the game again. So it's gonna be kind of give us a better idea of how the actual final product is gonna play. But yeah, anyway, January can't come soon enough. So close, and yet so far. Anyway, look, that's gonna do it for my review, my thoughts on Tekken 8 so far. Let me know what y'all thought. Overall, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. Looking forward to this game. Anyway, that's going to do it for right now. Hope you guys have a good night. Stay safe out there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.